Soccerworld Fan TV here. We have Bryce. Not the happiest person, but of course he's coming up with a smile and everything. Um, I think out of all the people out here that I did interview and everything, I think you're probably the one that's not enjoying this result whatsoever. Um, yeah, just tell me about the game. I want you to rant on.
Well, firstly, I should say that Arsenal they deserve to win because they played a really good game, especially defensively. So going into the final 20 minutes, it was reasonable that they should be up and that they should have won. I can't complain in that regard. I can complain about Man U's performance, just because although the components kind of seem to be there, I would say the major issue was bringing them together, like Bruno Fernandez, for instance, who's kind of he's that knitting needle. He didn't have the greatest game, but also it seemed to be, they just weren't able to break down Arsenal's back line. Arsenal played a really good press, and they weren't able to find ways to do that. Did a lot of playing in from the back. I don't think worked. It might have been worth a shot to just boot it up every so often, but yeah, I would say overall, Arsenal played a great game. They deserve the 3 points.
Mm-hmm. And do you feel like maybe some of the situations didn't go your way? For example, for the whole penalty situation, do you think that was quite soft on like Hector? Sorry, Pogba on Hector Bellerin.
No, I'll try and be an objective. I think it was a penalty. Like you could see there was clear contact on his foot. That was that little clip. It might have been worth Pogba not going in for that. Not trying to reach and get the ball. If you pull your foot back, Barron's not actually going anywhere, and you can still cover the space. So I don't think it was a great tackle. I think it was a penalty, and I think it was worth giving. So
And then on your side as well, I did note jot some kind of notable moments. For example, the Greenwood situation, where he absolutely rinsed Gabriel, but then Gabriel made a he made a tackle after, and I think he was with the yellow card at the time. Do you think he should have been maybe sent off?
I see this one. It's for me. It's on the line. I personally think it could have gone either way. Obviously, being a Man U fan, I would have preferred if it was a yellow. If they'd given the yellow, it wouldn't have surprised me. I was a little surprised that he didn't get a card for it. But when he didn't end up getting the card, it wasn't a complete shock. And I guess it was the same with the Man U players. None of them really protested.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then there was a I think the Matic tackle. I did put that out and everything, but I think you would say as well that it was quite a clear tackle that Gabriel made
yeah, I would say
close
that
to the
one.
end. Yeah, yeah. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, as much as we do want to say how good you've been, there are you had a good run and everything. However, I do have to talk about the bad as well, and not only that, it is your first loss against Arsenal in like 14 years at Old Trafford. It's also it continues that home form where it's been poor this season, poor so far in the league. And what do you think
Mhm.
is the issue with that, and why?
Hmm. I would assume because, say, for example, with the RB Leipzig game and the PSG game, those ones both went really well. I honestly, from the very beginning, I was skeptical. I don't know if it's just me putting things in my head that don't make sense. Anytime I see a back, three center backs, and then the wing backs, whatever the team is, I'm like, oh, that team's gonna win. That's what Arsenal did today. That's what Man U was doing against was it our PSG, and I don't know why. It seems like three center backs always just seems to work. Um, but yeah, I would say a major issue is finding a way to control that midfield space. Uh, you could see that Arsenal were a greater presence in the midfield. When Man U did have the ball in the midfield, they were getting really compacted because of all the defenders pushing up on them.
Mm-hmm.
So think that was the major issue for this game. But overall, I do think it could be in part due to player management. Say, for example, everyone's talking about Van de Beek not really playing. We did see him get his start against RB Leipzig, and I think that could be an indicator why he's not necessarily starting, which is fitness issues. He was taken off, what was it, like 70th minute?
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, I think it's probably just not enough people to do both Europe and England. And so what they're doing is they're kind of having to over exercise certain players, and that's tiring them out.
So fatigue,
Um,
right?
Fatigue, yeah, I would say fatigue is a major issue. I couldn't really tell you other major issues because I'm not a professional pundit. Uh,
Well, I
I'm
mean,
still at the rookie levels, you know.
yeah, I
Um,
mean, you have every right to talk about the game as well. So I think it's all good, and I can understand. And I've noticed as well, like Van de Beek, whenever he comes on as well, he always does make an impact and everything. Do you think maybe they should have experimented a little bit more with Van de Beek coming on, considering he is fresh, and of course Bruno Fernandez, he played pretty much a full session and everything, right? So.
yeah, I do think that I do think that certain players should be the substitution should probably be happening earlier in the game. Like I know that Solskjaer, when he was coaching Mold, he would continually bring people on at halftime. That was a major thing that he would do, and I don't see why that can't be continued on uh, in the Premier League. You know, Van der Beek, if he doesn't have a 90-minute fitness, 45 is surely enough, and like you said, he does make a really good impact, and he's really good on and off the ball. In this game, he didn't, have that massive showcasing, but you could see when he was on the ball, he was actually making a fairly good attempt, and he was making fairly big impact. But overall, yeah, I would say they have the players, Van der Beek, Cavani, they came on today. If you gave them the chance, if you brought them on at halftime, I personally think that they would have more of an opportunity. And that would also mean the people who were on for the first half, if you tell them at the beginning of the game, you're coming off at halftime either way, that means that they don't have to conserve energy. They can put it in for 45 minutes instead of 90.
Mm-hmm. And one final thing I want to say, of course, it's hard to give credit to your rivals and everything, especially after a loss like that. But if there's anything you want to say to Arsenal fans, and about how they played and everything.
What I will say, defense was really great. I was hoping, and I was smiling when I saw Mustafi coming on. Sadly, he didn't do any of his Mustafi blunders. The penalty, I can see why a lot of other Premier League fans complain when Man U get him. So that's fair enough. But yeah, overall, Arsenal played the better game, so they got the 3 points.
Yes, thank. All right, thank you so much once again for giving your opinions and everything. I know. How is it like in Cayman right now? Is it like sunny or is it like gloomy?
No, it's good weather today. Let me see. Yeah, it's nice and cloudy. Going out for footy with the boys later today, so it's gonna be hot. I think it's sitting around 32 degrees. Feels like 40. So
Do you play as midfield, by the way, or like what position do you play?
honestly, I don't know. I always played right back, and then as I got older, I moved further up the pitch.
Okay,
I,
so we're gonna see 5 goals in the game, 5-0. Let's go. But yeah, thank you once again. And I mean, like, if you do feel bad for this amazing Manchester United supporter, please give his video a like. Please, of course, share this video as well, and of course, subscribe for more great insight of the beautiful game that we all love. Thank you once again for coming in, and we hope to see you more in more interviews.
Thanks for having me.